Hello YouTube, my name is Nero, and today we have some Titanfall 2, the highly anticipated sequel of the original Titanfall. This is actually going to be the second game from Respawn Entertainment, which is a group of people that were actually a part of the original Infinity Ward team, the people that made Call of Duty 4, as was Modern Warfare 2. They left Infinity Ward, they left Activision, they broke off and made their own studio, Respawn Entertainment, and so obviously these guys are being held to some pretty high expectations with games like Call of Duty 4 and Modern Warfare 2 in their resume. The big question is, has this game lived up to those expectations? Is Titanfall 2 a good game? That is the biggest question I'm getting from people, because there are so many great shooter games coming out this year. We have Battlefield 1, which is already out. We have Infinite Warfare and Modern Warfare Remastered right around the corner. Right here, we have Titanfall 2 kind of squeezed in between. And of course, we have all the other shooter games that have already come out, like Overwatch and Doom. So with so many great shooter games that have come out this year, is Titanfall 2 worth your time? And most importantly, is it worth your money? Now, before I go any further, I would like to say that I am relatively inexperienced with Titanfall 2. I have 2, maybe 3 hours or so into the game right now. This video is going to kind of serve as my first impressions of the game, but keep in mind I also played a pretty good amount of the beta as well. So let's discuss the biggest problem of the original Titanfall, and that was lack of content and lack of reason to continue playing the game, because there was simply nothing to do in the game. They added in a bunch of weapons, as well as maps, as well as game modes and customization into Titanfall 2, which is a pretty good thing. Looking at the weapons here, we have 4 different assault rifles, 4 submachine guns, 3 light machine guns, 3 sniper rifles, 2 shotguns, 4 grenadiers, and in total that is going to give us 20 total primary weapons. We have 8 different secondary weapons, which is going to consist of 4 pistols, as well as 4 anti-Titan weapons, and of course we have 6 Titans in this game, whereas the original Titanfall had 3 Titans. In total, we have 9 different multiplayer maps to play on, as well as 10 different game modes to play. There's also a bunch of customization here in Titanfall 2, especially compared to the original. We can actually complete tons of challenges. There are so many challenges in this game, it is absurd, where you can customize your weapons, you can customize your soldiers, you can customize your gender. There are a lot of different things for you to do challenge-wise that will actually unlock you things, and I like that. One of my favorite things about Modern Warfare 2 back in the day was actually trying to complete challenges for different titles and emblems, trying to run X amount of miles with Marathon or X amount of miles with Lightweight to unlock this special title or this special emblem. I enjoyed doing that. It was a side objective that you could always be working towards, and you have those here in Titanfall 2. Now, while you're not working towards pro perks or anything, you are working towards character customization, and I think that's pretty good. This game is not all sunshine and flowers, however. There is no stat tracking whatsoever in Titanfall 2. In fact, I was shocked to see, if you want to look at your stats whatsoever, you have to hover over your name in your network to get an idea of how many total kills and how many total wins you actually have in this game. There is no proper stat tracking whatsoever. You can look at your weapons and then go to your camos and look at your challenges that way, but that's a very annoying way to try and track your progress with your weapons. It'd be a lot better if they were to have a simple combat record style system in this game, because Respawn Entertainment, level with me here, man. It's 2016. We don't have stat tracking. There aren't even leaderboards in this game. Like, how are you going to do it like that? It makes no sense whatsoever. So that's definitely something I'm not very happy with. I'm not very happy with the game modes so far here in Titanfall 2 as well. I was a big fan of playing Hardpoint in the original Titanfall, which is basically Respawn's take on domination from the Call of Duty series. They changed up Hardpoint to make it amped Hardpoint, and the difference is this. Once you capture a flag, you can then amp that flag by staying on it a little bit longer. Amped hardpoints actually give you double points, and as a result, a game of amped hardpoint is on average 6 to 8 minutes long. And so when I first played this game, I hopped on, like, I'm gonna play some amped hardpoint. This is gonna be great. I'm playing, and every single match is ending in 6 or 8 minutes, and nothing is happening in these matches. The game ends before anything good can actually happen. A typical match will go like this. You start off, you guys meet towards the B flag, and you're gonna have a bit of a pilot fight, your team versus their team. A couple of people are going to die, and then eventually everybody's going to get their Titan, because you just get your Titans in this game, and then you have a bit of a Titan standoff, and then the game's over. The most kills I've ever actually seen in a game of amped hardpoint is like 18 or something like that, like very, very slow pace, nothing really happening. To do the math on that, that's an average of maybe 2 to 3 kills every single minute, which is very, very slow paced. And when you're Titanfall, you have to realize that you are indirectly competing with other shooters in the market. And so what does Titanfall 2 do to separate itself from the rest of the shooters out there? Well, the only thing that I could think of would be the series' namesake, Titans. Titans are the only big difference that kind of separates Titanfall 2 from a generic shooter game. Back when Titanfall 1, the original one, came out, it was a very innovative game for the time. You did not have a bunch of games at that time where you could run on walls, where you could get on top of buildings and have all kinds of crazy movement. But since the original Titanfall, that has basically been a staple in like every shooter game that comes out now. Every game has crazy movement. It's not just standard boots on the ground anymore. And so when I play this game, the movement, while it is fast and it does feel good, especially the grappling hook. I love the grappling hook. Whenever I'm using a submachine gun or a shotgun, I'm using grappling hook and I'm just flying around everywhere. It feels very nice, but that's not something that's incredibly new to me. So when I'm using these Titans, that is the big change, right? That is what separates Titanfall from the rest of the games out there. When you play Titanfall 2, you don't have these giant scale battles like you see in Battlefield 1. You also don't have ridiculously fast-paced action like you see in Call of Duty. Like, sure, Titanfall 2 is a relatively fast-paced game, but like I said, on average, if you're having a good game, you're going to get 2 or 3 kills every minute, which is not really a lot. In Call of Duty, even a bad player can get 30, 40, 50 kills in like a 10-minute game of domination, whereas a 10-minute game of attrition here in Titanfall 2, if you're a really good player, you may be able to pull off 20 kills on pilots. Like, sure, you're going to kill a bunch of NPCs and stuff like that, but actual people, you might kill 20 if you're really good, maybe. It's a very slow-paced game in that respect. So what does this game do that kind of separates it? Titans, you have this mech warfare game kind of built in, and I do think that the Titans are interesting. I don't like the anti-Titan mechanics, however. So to talk about the mechanics I do like, I like the fact that we have 6 Titans in this game. Every single Titan has kind of their own niche and they're kind of their own playstyle, and you can customize that playstyle by changing around different perks and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. You have control of this giant mech, but at the same time, they're pretty difficult to take out for the most part. Now, again, I've only played for 2 or 3 hours so far, but in the original Titanfall, how you could go up against these Titans is you could actually rodeo them. You could jump on their back, you could start shooting at them while riding on their back, and that was a way for you to actually start taking them out. In Titanfall 2, and we saw this in the beta, we don't have that same system. Now, if you jump on a Titan's back, you rodeo them, you just kind of throw a grenade down there inside of them. It does a little bit of damage, and that's it. You also have these little green packs that you can find on the map, which you can use to jump on your teammates' backs and put them inside their Titan to heal their Titan. Like, I get what they're going for. They wanted to make it more engaging, but to actually take out Titans, like in the original Titanfall, it was really fun. If you were really good at rodeoing, you get up there, you do a bunch of damage, you jump off, you fly over to a wall really quickly so they don't know where you're at, you jump back on top of them, you do some more damage, you jump back off. It's a really fun way to play the game and take out enemy Titans, whereas here in Titanfall 2, it feels like it's a little bit too difficult to actually take out the Titans if you're actually a pilot. You basically have to sit back with your anti-Titan weapon and hope they don't see you to actually take them out. So right now, Titans, I'm kind of iffy. They're fun to play, but they're also kind of difficult to take out. I wonder if that's going to change with different anti-Titan weapons. I wonder if that's going to change with level progression. We're going to have to see how that plays out, but I really wish they would go back to the old rodeo system. That's like one of my biggest gripes of the game so far is I wish I could just rodeo an enemy Titan and start shooting at them rather than just dropping down a grenade and just running away, because I'm not a big fan of that system as a whole. But again, that could change with time. We're going to have to see how it actually plays out. I do see what they were going for. They want to make it more engaging, but for me, it just, I don't know if I exactly like it that much. Will this game have staying power? That's definitely a big question. I feel as though right now they need to add a little bit more to the game to actually make people want to continue playing it. One of my favorite things about shooter games, and longtime fans of my YouTube channel here know this, I love stat tracking, I love progression, I love seeing myself improve, and the fact that we have really no stat tracking in this game, with the exception of looking at weapon challenges to see how many kills you have with that weapon, I don't like that system whatsoever. We need to have a proper weapon stat tracking system in this game, a Titan stat tracking system in this game, something that we can actually track our stats and have an idea of what we're doing. Because the biggest thing for me when I'm playing a shooter game, or really any game as a whole, is if I can't see myself progress and if I don't feel as though I'm working towards something, I get bored very quickly. Now again, going back to the beginning of the video, we can actually see our progress in weapon challenges, and you can constantly be working towards those challenges, so there is a bit of progression, but I would like to see how many total kills I have. I'd like to see how many wins I have in comparison to my losses. What is my kill-death ratio? Like, I would love to know these things, because that's how I have fun in games, is I want to know exactly how fast I'm progressing and how well I am actually progressing. Will this game actually be able to compete with Battlefield 1, Infinite Warfare, Modern Warfare Remastered, Doom, Overwatch, and the other shooter games that have already been put out this year? I'm not entirely sure. I'm really not. Now, I talked about this in the open beta, and again, I'm only 2 or 3 hours into the live game so far, so just keep that in mind. But I felt as though, and I still feel as though, this game should have been delayed until March, not because it feels incomplete. Sure, it needs to have weapon stat tracking, in my opinion. There are some things they definitely need to work on, but it needs to be delayed because there's no reason a game like Titanfall should be trying to compete with juggernauts like Call of Duty and Battlefield. It just makes no sense. You're releasing 1 week after Battlefield 1 and 1 week before Modern Warfare Remastered and Infinite Warfare. They're putting this game out to die. Now, initial sales are one thing. The people that buy Titanfall 2 right now, chances are they are really big fans of the Titanfall franchise. They've really been wanting Titanfall 2 to come out and they want to play it as soon as possible. But the big sales are going to come from the holiday season. This coming Christmas, you're going to see people buying games. They're going to have a limited budget, right? They're not going to be able to buy every single game, so they're going to have to make a decision. On Christmas, during the holiday season, are they going to purchase Battlefield 1, Infinite Warfare, which is also going to come with Modern Warfare Remastered, or Titanfall 2? I really don't see a situation where the majority of people are going to pick Titanfall 2 over Battlefield 1 or Call of Duty. It just doesn't make sense to me. Those games are too big. They're household names. Titanfall 2, while yes, it's a good game, I don't feel as though it's going to be able to compete with them. And so if they would have simply released in March, it would have made so much more sense. Give it 6 months. By then, people are going to be a little bit burnt out on the current Call of Duty, a little bit burnt out on the current Battlefield, and looking to try something new. I feel as though that's what they should have done. They did not do that, and as a result, I'm not sure this game is actually going to sell all that well, but on its own merit, right now, I feel as though Titanfall 2 is not a bad game. In fact, I think it's a bit of an improvement over the original because we have a lot more game modes than we had originally. We have a lot more maps, I think. We have 9 of them. I can't remember how many we had in the original Titanfall initially, but we have 9 maps, we have 20 total primary weapons, 8 secondary weapons, 6 Titans, lots to do in this game, and all its DLC is going to be free. If you guys don't know, there is no season pass for this game. They are going to be giving us maps and game modes and weapons all throughout the life cycle of Titanfall 2, and it's all going to be free. They are not going to be charging for this stuff whatsoever, which I think is a pretty cool system, honestly, but I really hope that one of the free game modes that they end up giving us is going to be the original Hardpoint pack, because Amped Hardpoint for me, it almost killed the game off for me. I was playing this game last night, I got up to level 10, I was basically playing only Amped Hardpoint, because Hardpoint, again, was my favorite mode in the original Titanfall, and I was not having fun at all. I was rambling on Twitter, I was like, what is the point of this game? Like, I don't see a point. Like, every match is like 6 to 8 minutes long, and the game ends before anything can actually happen. Nobody's getting any kills. Like, people capture flags and the game ends in like 5-6 minutes. It takes no time at all. It's just really, really boring. It's after I started playing other game modes that I realized, okay, Titanfall 2 actually isn't all that bad. Once I started playing Attrition, I like Attrition a lot more than I like Amped Hardpoint. It's pretty fun. The games aren't as quick, and there's actually time for stuff to develop. You can get more than one Titan in a match. You can actually see things develop, and it's kind of fun. I played the pilot versus pilot game mode, which is a lot more fast-paced than I actually anticipated. It's actually 8 on 8 with no Titans, only pilots, and the initial spawns are actually very close to each other, so within like a couple of seconds of you initially spawning, you're going to see somebody like right there in your face, and it's a big old team deathmatch, which is kind of fun, but for me, it's like, I don't see a reason to play Titanfall 2, or even just to buy Titanfall 2 if you plan to only play pilot versus pilot, because it doesn't really do anything interesting that you can't get in Call of Duty or Battlefield. It doesn't have a lot of staying power for me, that game mode. So for me, the big selling point of Titanfall 2 would be its namesake, the interaction the game has with pilots and the Titans, while also working with AI and working with the objectives on various maps and various game modes. That is the big selling point for me, and I hope you guys can look at my videos and make a decision as to whether or not you guys may actually want to purchase this game, or watch other people's reviews of it, or watch live streams of it, just to get an idea. But again, it goes back to that thing I talked about back during the beta. I'm not sure how many people are actually going to purchase this game if they have a limited gaming budget. If they can't just purchase every shooter game that comes out, which most people can't, they have to make a decision. Do they want Overwatch? Do they want Doom? Do they want Battlefield? Do they want Call of Duty? Either of the Call of Duties this year. Do they want Titanfall 2? Is Titanfall 2 worth purchasing over any other shooter this year? I'm not entirely sure. For me personally, I don't think it's going to rank towards the top. For me, it's always going to be Call of Duty. I'm a Call of Duty YouTuber, for crying out loud. But Battlefield's up there as well. While playing Titanfall 2 last night, on its opening night, I was playing and thinking to myself, I kind of wish I was playing Battlefield right now. And that goes back to what I was saying. They should not have released this game so close to Battlefield and so close to Call of Duty, but to each his own. And I would love to hear down there in the comment section below, what are your thoughts on Titanfall 2? Have you purchased the game? Are you going to purchase it? Are you not going to purchase it? Why and why not? I would love to hear about that. I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. I hope you guys all found it somewhat helpful and informative. If you did, please drop me a rating. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day.